Okay, this is a just an overview of this week, week 4. This is our last project before the final, which is exciting. And this should be a fun one. So this week we're going to look at narrative and serial imagery. Up here I have some interviews, a great video here of Dwayne Michaels. Another great video here of Uta Barth. Those are two of the artists we're looking at. Narrative and serial imagery. There's kind of two ways to approach this. We're going to look at diptychs, triptychs, or polytychs, two or more images which relate to each other on a conceptual level, a formal level, or both. Conceptually related images are images in which the subject matter is related, but formally they may or may not be related. Okay, so that's kind of like Uta Barth. Photos that are formally related would, for instance, share a similar design sensibility, maybe corresponding abstract shapes, etc. Often described as tableau or tableau vivant. Many photographs can depict a narrative in a single image. Think Gregory Crutzen. So we're going to look at him as well. Prior to the 20th century, pictorial narrative was achieved through sequential or serial images. For that, we're going to look at Dwayne Michaels. And we'll view the work of many artists working in diverse modes for this project. The tack you take will depend largely on the story you wish to tell. Then here I just have some kind of fun questions that like maybe could prompt you to think a little bit more. I say this being the second to last project in the class, it may be time to pause and ask yourself a few rather important questions. What is it about the medium that prompted you to take a college photography course? Which artists you have seen in this class do you most respect? What photographs are you most moved by? Why is photography important in your life? And you can kind of go through these. Some are just kind of fun, but maybe to kind of get you thinking. Like, what are you curious about? What are you an expert about? What frightens you? What do you know? What do you think? What brings you joy? Which stirs you to a murderous rage? All that kind of stuff. Again, this week we're kind of not necessarily creating the photographs, although in a lot of ways we are kind of staging these. But there's a bunch of ways you could approach this, and I'll kind of talk about that when I go through the PDF of the examples. So you're going to show a minimum of 6 images, and it can be a combination of any of the above. So you could do like a single narrative image, which we'll look at. You could do a diptych and a narrative. You could do 4 images, 2 images. You could do 3 and 3, whatever you want to do, kind of whatever combination you can kind of think of for this week. Whatever kind of experimentation leads you wherever you go. Of course, you're always welcome to go beyond, so if you have an idea for a piece that would take 700 photos, go for it. But we're going to shoot a minimum of 144 raw files. What you're handing in, just turn in all of your shooting as a contact sheet. And then if you're going to turn in like your diptychs, triptychs, or polytychs, please turn those in as their own PDF slideshow. So one diptych is just turned in as a PDF slideshow of 2 images. Okay. If you have like a bunch of single tableau images, so like one narrative in the image and that's it, please just turn them in as their own slideshow, but just kind of notate on the submission like these are all individual images, not to be viewed together. Everything's going to be turned in by 6:21 at midnight, and we're going to start the critique on 6:22 on discussion board. Also this week, we're going to look at how to make a double exposure in camera or in Photoshop. Okay, these are 2 images by Dwayne Michaels. Also, like, hey, I want to add text to my image. How do I do that? We're going to do that in Photoshop. And then also we're going to look at a little retouching. Okay, and then we do have one last reading. Okay, it's kind of a lot to go through, but next video we'll come back and we'll look at our examples here.